I feel honored to announce and welcome our keynote speaker. We know a lot about him through TV. He's a TV and media personality. We know he's a very prominent activist. So I tried to find something we didn't know, and his favorite Kashmiri food. Any guesses? So it was Satsal Vangan, Chut Chut as he said, and with hook, bud and heart. The other thing I asked him was like, our community was trying to, this is 80s, right? So a lot of people are still thinking that they will stay and move back. And he as a child was pushing his parents to move to Kashmir at that time. So that activism started pretty young, I would say. With that, please welcome Mr. Sushil Pandit ji. I request a part of this welcome.
Namaskar, Maharaj. Namaskar. Sorry. There are kids here who don't understand. And in case agar kais kunjai kitni time, then you're welcome.
One can summarize in English.
Yeah, because we have some non-Kashmiris
also.
You have some non-Kashmiris also?
Yes.
Then it will be a bit of a...
We have motivated them to be...
It's going to be unfair on them, I'm sorry. So, between Hindi and English, then what is preferred?
Hindi. Okay,
Okay, I speak to English. I am in America, and all of you, I'm sure, are proficient. Though Bhaji's mother, who hugs me and loves me and blesses me like my own mother, I hope she also understands. A lady walked up to me and she was still shedding tears for her brother, Anil Bhan, who lost his life in Kanikadal in February 1990. 36 years. So this is something that will stay with us. Many of our near and dear ones, family, friends, neighbors have been through this. So I was wondering what is new that I must tell you. But there are things that we must still reiterate, repeat, tell ourselves and tell whoever is willing to listen. Because what we face every now and then is a denial of that. If not a point blank face denial, dilution of that. And what results from this denial and dilution are some very misplaced suggestions, even if they are well-intentioned. And that is what harms us the most. Because when people within our own group who have equally suffered, I will not deny that they have any less suffering or they have any axe to grind in this. I take all that on the face value. But for various reasons, when there is denial or dilution, then it harms us all collectively. And when I say harms us all, I don't mean just the Kashmiri Hindus who were at the front line, who bore the brunt of it directly. But the larger Hindu community
It's too far away.
and the country itself. Because I
I get
believe,
tired handling it.
very sincerely believe that we were not targeted because we were Kashmiris. Because those who targeted us were also fellow Kashmiris. So that was not the issue. We were targeted because we were Hindus. So in spite of being Kashmiris, that didn't help us, that didn't rescue us. We were all the same targeted because we were Hindus, and this is the fate of Hindus wherever they go into minority and suffer the aggression of a supremacist majority. That is the kind of fate Hindus await even today in present day India, where Hindus are in huge majority but in small clusters. They have become a minority. And this is no breaking news to you. You all are aware of it. It is happening as we
Oh goodness, it's just a little.
talk here
That's
and address this issue. So being Hindu is what happened to all of us. And because Kashmir was a low-hanging fruit where Hindus were in a minority, it happened to us first. No other reason. There is absolutely no doubt about the fact that what we faced was a genocide. It was neither akin to genocide nor somewhat close to genocide. It was pure and naked genocide as the Genocide Convention of 1948 by United Nations defines it. If anybody cares to Google, there are 4 or 5 parameters. Except one, all parameters fit on us. And a genocide doesn't call for all the parameters. Even one parameter suffices. We meet 80% of the parameters, 4 out of 5. The only parameter that doesn't fit us is our children were taken away from us in order to be raised not as who they are. Okay, that didn't happen to us. On a scale of community, maybe 1 or 2 places may have, but except for this parameter, all the 4 parameters apply to us. We were driven out of our lands. We were murdered. We were murdered for an identity, not for an individual cause. And our continuance on that place was made unsustainable. Is there an acknowledgement of this fact? That we faced a genocide? No. Nowhere in the world, any responsible, legitimate government till date has reached this conclusion. And why? Because nobody, no government, no system has cared to even establish on a white paper formally as to what happened to us. In India, a train accident, a big highway accident, merits a magisterial inquiry at least to figure out if it was a human error, if it was a technical error, if it was a sabotage, or if it was a natural calamity. If a few, say a dozen odd people get killed, there is an inquiry. In our case, thousands of heinous crimes were committed. People in hundreds of thousands, an entire community was driven out of the land. 11 governments and 9 prime ministers have happened since. Of all hues and shades, of all ideologies, of all parties and coalitions, of all kinds. Not one has till date decided to put on paper for all of us to know and for the posterity to know what happened to us. Not one. So when our own government, our own elected government, our own powerful prime ministers, okay, they may have some political compulsions. We happen to try, even with the Supreme Court, the last door you can knock at for justice. In 2017. And our petition was not even please recognize our genocide. We just said there are thousands of FIRs pending. People have died, abducted, raped, massacres. Not one FIR has been acted upon for investigation, for prosecution, for conviction or punishment. Not one. Not even as an exception. This petition was not even admitted. At the admission stage, it was tossed off. This was at the time when R.S. Sodhi was Chief Justice, and the two-judge bench, of which he himself and another judge, D.Y. Chandrachud, who eventually became Chief Justice, were part. And they threw us away. We were told, don't worry, a nationalist judge, a more sensitive to this kind of tragedy, Judge Deepak Mishra, will become CJI. Move a review petition, we did that. The time limitation is about 6 months. Again, he sat with the same Judge D.Y. Chandrachud, and the review petition met the same fate. So, 2 CJIs, twice in a row. Years later, we were told, okay, you have another remedy, move a curative petition. You know, judicial system has its own nuances. So we moved a curative petition, and this time the same CJI with 2 more judges. And one of them was Sanjay Kishan Kaul, Supreme Court judge. Incidentally, that Supreme Court judge, it so happened, Mr. Rakesh Kaul had lost his mother from New Jersey. He had come to Delhi in Vasant Vihar Club. He had called some of his friends to commiserate on that occasion. And I happened to be there, and so was Sanjay Kishan Kaul, and he walked up to me. And he was trying to console me, saying what Justice R.S. Sodhi and D.Y. Chandrachud did in the first petition was unacceptable. If I were part of that bench, I would never have let this happen. Well, as fate would have it, in the curative petition, he was part of the bench, and they unanimously threw us out.
Wow.
Incidentally, I'm taking a little more time, but I must tell you, same Justice Sanjay Kishan Kaul wrote to President of India a letter resenting that 4 judges who were selected by the collegium to be elevated to Supreme Court, and later that list was revised and 2 were dropped and fresh 2 were included and made Supreme Court judges. He wrote a resenting note to the President of India that this should not be done in the appointment of judges. His conscience was really shaken on that issue, on how judges, Supreme Court judges should be appointed, but not on our issue. So it is not for lack of trying or lack of exhausting all options that we have that we are in a situation today, that there isn't even an acknowledgement. Forget justice. Unless you acknowledge, how will you do justice? There's no justice for Anil Khan, there is no justice for hundreds and thousands. No two tragedies should ever be compared, it's abominable. But there is one more abominable than the other. There is one more tragic than the other that we as a community have suffered all these years. So acknowledgement of genocide, justice to the victims and survivors, none is forthcoming. Third, reversal of our genocide. And there are different steps towards that. It's not that some of the well-meaning members of our community haven't tried. A simple demand like acknowledgement of our genocide, some of us went to a home minister, he said to our faces that if you wear your genocide on your forehead, what will it get you? As brazen as that. What will it get you? Maybe a very practical question. So sweep it under the carpet. Don't talk about it. Be practical. Ask for what you want. So they asked, for our return, we should be given one place settlement. We cannot go back, scattered, spread thin, as hostages, to be targeted again, to be again expelled, to face murder and rape and massacre. To which the Home Minister said, if I give you one district, what will I do for the rest of 9 districts? How will I safeguard those, retain those 9 districts for India? Good question. I'm happy the Home Minister was keen that we must populate all the 10 districts of Kashmir Valley with Hindus, so that India has a legitimate claim, for there is a patriotic population there. And India could say, what about these 9 districts where Hindus remain? But for that, you are not even willing to acknowledge why those Hindus disappeared from those districts in the first place. We are good enough only to be used as sandbags to your bunkers. Nothing more. Okay, we are willing to be your bunker sandbags. But acknowledge what happened to us. No, sir. Very often, those who support such political formations and their ideas tell us, you must go back and sacrifice for the country. Very gratuitous, very liberal with such suggestions. That if not you, who else will? You lead. Not realizing that it cannot be a small, microscopic, solitary community's remit to do this. If this nation needs to hold on to Kashmir with any legitimacy, with any authority, with any moral standing, the entire nation needs to come together, the entire system, the entire polity, or at least those who rule with a clear vision that this is what we face in Kashmir and we need to acknowledge it. You can't use a certain people like sacrificial lambs only for you to crow about that we have reversed the genocide, the Hindus have returned to Kashmir, that we have fulfilled our promises. And the reason why this happens is the mindset. There was a time I had access to some of the leading lights of those in authority. And I would often ask them, what are you going to do in Kashmir? How do you plan? Because now we are in power. In those early days, I was very frankly, candidly told, we have to normalize Kashmir. I said, good. What does this normalize mean? And they were candid enough to tell me there are some basic parameters. I could count them on finger, 4 everyday parameters and 2 annual parameters that Kashmir can be declared as normal. 1, the traffic on the roads should move without any hiccups, without any problems. No roadblocks, no hartals, no stone pelting, nothing. Okay, so that's one parameter of normalized Kashmir. Second, the market should open and close in time. People should go, buy whatever they need to. Those who want to sell should sell whatever they want to. And things should happen orderly. No hartal calendars, no disruption of normal life. Markets should function normally. Second. Third, the schools and colleges should have regular academic atmosphere. Their classes should happen. Their exams should happen. Normally, no disruption there. And fourth, offices and institutions should have regular attendance, those who need to visit them for their work done, or those who need to go there for working there, must happen without any problems. So these are the 4 everyday parameters of normalcy. And 2 annual parameters, Amarnath Yatra should go incident-free, and tourism in the summers should break records every successive year. If these 6 things are achieved, Kashmir is normal. So what about us? This is if Kashmir is normal, you go back. This is the understanding of what we face in Kashmir. So which is why, when in TV debates, or in very eloquent public addresses, speeches, elections, they say, "Patharbazi ruk gayi hai." 2 crore tourist Kashmir ja raha hai. Kashmir normal hai. भाई वहां टारगेटेड किलिंग्स हो रही हैं, मर्डर्स हो रहे हैं. मर्डर कहां नहीं होते? देश में कोई ऐसी जगह है जहां मर्डर नहीं होते? If you go Nakbal, we've done our job. क्या पिछली सरकारों ने ऐसा किया था? नहीं किया था. बिल्कुल ठीक है आपने. I mean, Kashmir is normal, yes. By these parameters, Kashmir is normal. This semblance of normalcy that you sell to the entire world, this appearance of a sense of security, comes crashing down when 1 week before Prime Minister's Yoga Day spectacle in Srinagar is spent sanitizing that area, 2 square kilometers of area, inch by inch, and deployment of forces happens really armed to their teeth. But we don't see that in the video clips. What we see in the video clips is 1,000 people in front of Shriman Narendra Modi ji doing yoga class. And it gives you a semblance of normalcy. That is what Kashmir problem has been reduced, unfortunately. And therefore, we suffer the consequences of it every now. There's a lot I could go on saying, but I think there has to be time for some question answers. If you have any, and if I can answer some of them, if they're not too difficult, I'll be happy to address. How much time do you have?